Hello, welcome to the podcast. We are Luxury Invest Group, and I am Cameron, one of the co-founders and directors of Luxury Invest Group. And I'm with today the first guest of our podcast series, Ross O'Shea, who is also one of the co-founders and directors of Luxury Invest Group. Welcome to the podcast, Ross.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Good stuff. So hopefully what we can get from today is more of an insight as to who Ross is, his background, what it was like growing up, and what's led to him being in the position he's in now as leader of Luxury Invest Group. So, Ross, what was your early life like? What did you grew up in Scunthorpe? What was it like?
Yeah, well, I think Scunthorpe's probably as it sounds, really. It's not the most pleasant of places, and places nearby, called Hull, Grimsby. It's a pretty, deprived area of the UK, I'd say. But, got lots of good friends there, great family. And, I enjoyed my younger days. It was easy, really. Turn up, go to school, go play football,
Are the guys that you grew up with, have you got lots of friends who are still at home? Has everyone moved away or?
Yeah, no, well, everyone stayed, to be honest. I think you would speak to most people that moved to Dubai, actually. They're one of a few that have sort of broken away from home. But yeah, another one of my friends, he's moved to London, but the rest are all still there, really. There's in Scunthorpe, the main job is to work at the steelworks. So pretty much everybody, I'd say 90% of my mates are somehow working on the steelworks or having something to do with it.
So what was your early career like? What was school like?
School I enjoyed, to be fair. I think it's like what everyone says, it's the best days of your life. Such good fun there. And yeah, I enjoyed going. I was a bit of an all-rounder. And I made the most out of it, I think, of what I could. But I certainly knew after school it's not something I wanted to carry on doing. I didn't want to carry on with education.
Yeah. And then what was your first job?
Well, my first job, I actually had a few jobs while I was at school. I was a dishwasher boy at the local garden centre on the weekends. And then I was also a concrete barrow boy. So like I used to work on building sites when they came to drop off big loads of concrete. I'd turn up with my wheelbarrow and literally move it all onto site and then, onto the next site. I did that on weekends and evenings through the summer as well. So I was always trying to find a way to sort of make a bit of extra money even whilst I was at school.
So how old were you when you left school and what did you go on to do?
15 technically, just because of my birthdays. I'm one of the youngest in the year. And then, like I said, I didn't really want to continue with education. And as I mentioned earlier, most people go to work on the steelworks, which wasn't for me either. And then I ended up seeing an advert on the TV about joining the army. And I just thought it looked amazing. It was exciting. So, I said to my mum, I went to the colleges to see what they had to offer. And then said to my mum, I said, I've seen this advert and, I'd like to go see, and learn more about it. She was just like, what? But I've got grandparents and family that have been in the military. So, my mum definitely supported me straight away. But it was just all a bit random in the timing of it. So went to the careers office to learn a bit more, and then ended up joining the army when I was 16.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, what did you want to do when you grew up? But I guess from an early age, then it became apparent the army was for you.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think, and then when I joined the army, I realised it was the right place for me, and I can't recommend it enough, really, for young people.
So the army is just something so... I don't know. I just wouldn't have lasted a minute there, to be honest. So what was it like being in the army?
Do you know what? At the time, I honestly thought it was brilliant. Like, I loved every minute of it. And I honestly thought, especially in the first few years, I thought that was me.
Forever.
Forever, yeah. I thought 22 years service, worked my way through. It was just brilliant. You just young guys, so much camaraderie. You're doing exciting things. You're traveling the world. I went avalanche training in Canada, was based in Germany for 2 years, then based in Cyprus.
Wow, amazing.
Down the road from Napa, which was good fun.
Where was the best place that you went or you stayed?
I'd say Canada, to be fair. That experience doing avalanche training was amazing. And then, to be honest, a lot of the other places you go, like Kenya, did a tour of Iraq when I was 18. They're not the best of places to spend time, but they were good experiences.
So you did a tour of Iraq. How long was that, and what was it like?
Yeah, well, I was too young to go originally when the rest of my battalion were going, so I had to wait behind in Germany, and then literally I turned 18 and then flew out the next day. And I think at the time you're sort of young and fearless and so well trained that I was sort of ready to go, but at the same time, looking back now, it was quite just a strange time of my life to be there in that situation in a war zone at 18 years old. But yeah, it's one of those things. I think I learned a lot from it, and I wouldn't go back again. But I'm glad as well that
you've experienced it.
And luckily on my tour there was nothing, nothing went wrong too much. There was no casualties or anything like that, which might have affected me in later life.
How would the tour work? Would you go for weeks at a time, then go home, or how does it work?
No, you're just there for 6 months.
Okay,
you get a 2-week break in the middle, but they'll send you somewhere like Kuwait where you basically get a bit of time to decompress, and then you go straight back out there. But at the time there was no one had mobile phones, or you had to queue to speak to your family on this shared line. You could speak to them about once a week, so it was a tough experience.
Diving at the deep end.
But again, I had good people around me and sort of took as much from it as I could, really.
I was going to say, what was the biggest challenge from being in the army, do you think, or what stands out as the biggest challenge, biggest moment?
In Iraq, or just in general? In
general, while you're at the army.
Oh, there's so many. You're constantly being challenged, so you can adapt to sort of any situation. So, there was loads. I think every day the standards are so high that you're always having to try and excel and sort of, push yourself to a limit and be ready for anything. So I don't think there's one specific challenge, but in general, the whole 4 years was a constant challenge of, training for something, deploying, improving, reviewing what it was, and then on to the next one.
So you must have had some crazy experiences. What was one of them?
One of them actually that was totally unexpected, because I think kind of like when you're on the tours of Iraq, you're sort of on your toes all the time, and you're at high alert, so you're kind of ready for things to happen, expecting it. But we were doing a training exercise to prep for Afghanistan. So we went to Kenya because it's a similar terrain and climate, and one evening we were tasked to go out and do a subsurface OP, which is like an observation post. So you leave sort of just before the last light, and then you patrol to the area, dig a hole in the ground essentially.
So you're going through the night as well, traveling on foot through the night.
Yeah. So your plan's to get there just before it gets dark, so you can dig where you're supposed to be, looking onto, and then you're in this hole and you stay in there for, it could be 24, 48 hours or longer. Observe whatever you're supposed to observe. So that was the plan. It was a training exercise. So we got selected to go out. There was 4 of us, and we patrolled out of our base down this sort of valley, climbed up the other side. It was steeper. We were trying to take a shortcut because there was light was dropping quickly. And then my mate Dom, he was carrying our equipment for to last a few days. And he started to drop back, and we were trying to sort of speed up and get there. Then he was sweating. He said his arm was hurting. So I kept checking on him because I was second in command on that op. And then he said his arm was hurting. So I loosened off his Bergen. We kept patrolling. And then I turned around, he was sweating more and more. And I was thinking, he's a fit guy as well. That's why he was carrying the equipment. I was thinking something's not right. He was getting weaker and weaker. So we sat him down, and then he was just totally delirious, really pale. So I was like, what is going on here? So I started to take his equipment off. I thought maybe he's been bitten or, stung by something. Pulled his glove off, and there was 2 fang marks in the top of his hand, and then just a bit of blood dripping from it. So I knew he'd been bitten. So we washed it out as quickly as we could. And then it was kind of like, luckily it wasn't in an actual live environment. You can go non-tactical then and actually get help. So we called a helicopter in when it was dark then, so we had to lay all these glow sticks out, wave this chopper in, put him on the chopper, and then we had to get back then to the rest of the platoon. So chopper flies off, he's gone to hospital, And by that point, his arm had started to deteriorate. There was no like muscle left on it.
No way.
Literally the poison. It was one of the most deadly spiders in the world. So
Wow.
eating all the muscle off his arm. So then we've like, right, brought ourselves back together. Like, right, there's 3 of us now. We just need to get back. And then literally chopper goes and we're patrolling. And then literally you can see these like lights, but eyes obviously, sort of like glistening with the light from the moon all around us.
Eyes from what, or lights from what?
We've been totally surrounded by like these wild dogs.
Wow.
And different animals, all different sizes. Couldn't even work out
Staring
what they
at
were.
you through the night.
Yeah, and luckily we'd had a bit of training to what to do in that situation, and basically you have to let them know you're human. So we're in the middle of Kenya now, in the pitch black. There's only 3 of us. You actually get given some live rounds in case there's a dangerous animal coming towards you.
Yeah.
So my commander at the time, Tommy, he loaded up the gun with the real bullets, and then we had to sing to make sure they knew we was human.
What song did you sing?
We sang our battalion song that we all knew. So
Like
we're
on Shania
walking through
Twain.
the dark, singing this song. Get back to our platoon, expecting everyone to still be like in a tactical situation, in complete darkness, and everybody sat in the middle in a circle and back to back, they're all crowded together, which is like not how you'd operate. And it turns out they were in a bit of trouble as well. There was a lion.
Wow.
Literally circling where we were staying, and literally every few minutes you just hear it roaring.
Wow.
So everyone had to like group together. Everyone was waiting there with guns in their rifles, ready in case this lion came charging through.
Wow, what an experience!
Yeah.
You did a good job noticing the fang marks on. I mean, how long would he have survived for if you didn't notice that?
No idea, to be honest. But it messed him up pretty quickly because we didn't see him then for a few days.
Was he okay though?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah. Luckily, he got flown straight into hospital, and obviously they knew how to deal with it.
Wow, what an experience!
Yeah, crazy.
So, what did you do after the army?
So after the army, I'd been visiting friends at university when I was home on leave, and I sort of really knew I wanted to go and enjoy that experience. So that was the main aim leaving the army. I thought I'd got as much out of it as I could. Time to go to uni. So yeah, left and applied, and luckily, to be honest, there was only one. I had no A levels, so I had no higher education after school. Luckily, one place let me in on based off experience and my GCSEs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went there.
How was that?
Yeah, loved it. Great experience, uni. I know you went obviously as well. So yeah, it's good fun, and I'm glad I went as I was a bit older, more mature, and slightly more focused, I think, than going at 18.
So, what an incredible experience in the army. Why did you leave?
Yeah, good question. I was doing really well there. I was fast-tracked for promotion multiple times, finishing top of the promotion cadres. But as I got older, I started to realise it just wasn't for me. There's a lot of control over where you're deploying. It's quite intense with Afghanistan heating up at the same time. I thought, I've got everything that I can from this, and it's time to just move on, really. So, yeah, I had a friend at university at the time I was spending a lot of time with when I was on leave, and obviously it was a brilliant experience. I saw how much fun he was having, and I thought, right, that's my next goal. So, yeah, I went to university and studied education and teaching because my mum's a teacher, and then went straight from there to Kuwait to teach. That was my first teaching job. I didn't actually do it in the UK. I went straight to Kuwait.
So where did Kuwait come from? Why teaching in Kuwait?
Well, funny enough, it's such a high pressure job in the UK. I knew I sort of didn't want to do it, and I had a friend from school who I knew she was a teacher. She was posting pictures, on holiday, on more holidays out in the sun, and I was thinking that's got to be a better option. I don't know where she is, but I'll message and find out. And then she couldn't recommend the school highly enough, so I applied for a job. Actually, I went to visit first just to check if I'd like it, and it was the biggest one-site school in the world. So there's around 300 teachers, mostly Brits and young Brits straight out of uni. So really good environment.
Like-minded people.
Yeah,
people
exactly.
in the same position.
And it was better money, less work actually as well, because there's a lot more support staff than the UK. So I thought, well, I'll trade off the UK teaching and do it.
Do it in QA.
Yeah.
So what led to Dubai then? When did Dubai come into the picture?
Yeah, so from Kuwait, we actually spent a lot of time traveling to Dubai on weekends or for events and whatnot. And I honestly think from the first time I came here, I knew I wanted to be here. I found it so exciting, and there was so many opportunities. I just knew. I remember a moment I was actually driving, the big roundabout near the marina.
Yeah.
With my friend Rob, I went to uni with. He came to Kuwait with me as well. And I was looking at the marina sky and I'm thinking, this place is amazing.
Incredible.
Obviously I grew up in Scunthorpe, where it's dark, dingy, steelworks, and then I'm in this place now, which has grown from nothing in the past 20 years, tallest buildings in the world. It's sunny, and the people are really ambitious here. I just found it so exciting. So yeah, I think from those first few visits, that's when it really, attracted me, and I started trying to plot my way to.
I was going to say, what led to? Was it not going to be teaching in Dubai then? What was the change from teaching to what you did in Dubai when you first got it?
Yeah, so teaching, I mean, it was better in Kuwait, but I enjoyed it, but I just knew it wasn't for me. With teaching, you're all on a similar salary, and you're not paid for your performance, which is one thing I sort of clicked onto when I was there. I've always been super professional, and always wanted to do the very best. So I would do that, but then I was noticing that people weren't doing that and getting paid the same. And I thought, it's just started to click that surely there's a job where I can get paid on my.
I was always the same, to be honest. People, you can go into work and have a bad day or a good day, the same result. It just didn't work for me. It was always, you wanted to know that the sky was the limit, or you could go beyond and earn whatever.
Yeah, exactly that.
So how did real estate come about then?
Well, that was all just through looking for jobs, really, that you could get paid on how hard you worked. So I was looking at recruitment and real estate, and then I've always liked real estate, and even from the days of just being obsessed with watching MTV Cribs and looking at these amazing houses. And then I bought my first property whilst in Kuwait, so that was much more familiar to me, and I just found it more exciting than the recruitment side of things. So yeah, that's how I ended up in real estate, really. I just thought, I'm still young enough to try something new. I think this would work. I think I'm suited for it, and thought, why not? I'll give it a go.
So you were obviously visiting Dubai, saw how amazing it was, the potential, but where does real estate come into it?
Well, it links back to sort of looking for those jobs with, where I could get paid on my performance, really. So I sort of shortlisted down to recruitment and real estate. And then I realised that I've always sort of had more of a connection with real estate, even from the days where I was obsessed with watching MTV Cribs and seeing these amazing homes on telly. And then I bought my first property whilst I was in Kuwait as well. So I had much more of a connection and an interest in real estate. And then I spoke to, obviously, Jamie, who's now our business partner, which is crazy to think. I was connected to him and knew he was out here doing the job and doing it well already. And then he sort of explained the unlimited earning potential. And I just thought, right, that's it. That's worth trying. So saved up some savings and then made the move across.
So I know this bit, but because this is where I met you. But where did you join? First days in real estate in Dubai? How did you find the experience?
Well, I think it was 8 years ago this month, or 9 years ago now, isn't it? You told me. So we obviously started together at Better Homes. Way back when now. And it was brilliant. I mean, I think it's a crazy experience the first 6 months to a year, I'd say, in real estate, because it's definitely a job where you have to sort of sink or swim. We got some good training at Better Homes, but there's nothing like doing the job to actually learn how to do it properly and what works and what doesn't. So you have got to work that out quite quickly, and there's a lot of change. It's very fast paced, a lot of hard work involved, a lot of hard work. But yeah, looking back, there were some funny people who joined with us.
Good characters, wasn't there? I just remember the role play of training, where you'd be in the training room calling through to an agent sat outside with everyone listening.
I had to do it. It's like the downtown office top guy, and he was making me pitch downtown to him. And I had no idea. I'd just started real estate.
Yeah.
But it's quite intimidating when you start. I think from my point of view, even I was looking around the room thinking, I'm way out of my depth here. I don't know what I'm doing. So much self-doubt. And then you gradually, as you do the job properly, and learn more, you become more confident. And then when you believe in yourself, it does get easier. I wish I'd kind of worked that out earlier, but it was a crazy time.
The experience of diving in at the deep end and actually doing the job that teaches you, not just kind of in the classroom environment.
Yeah, and everything you do, and you do your first deal, you still haven't learnt the job. You need a good 10 leases under your belt before you really start to know inside out. Yeah. And things change here so quickly, and then every client's different.
Well, I was going to say, clients don't know you're new at the job, so you're speaking to them like the expert when you've got doubt in yourself in the beginning of how to do it. And,
exactly that.
So, how long were you at Bet Homes for, and where did you go after that?
I can't remember how long I was there actually in the end. Just under a year, I think. I think I realised I moved quickly. Did about 6 months of leasing, which I think was really helpful because you learn the area. Very fast-paced, meet lots of clients. So that was really helpful when moving into sales. Started doing well in sales, and I just sort of realised that it wasn't quite the right environment for me. And luckily, a lady we worked with had moved on, and she used to do luxury real estate in London, and she moved to work for Palmer, Palmer Holding, the developer, where then obviously I went, and then you eventually came as well.
I've basically followed Ross around different jobs for the last 8 years. Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the last one. But yeah, they were developing a luxury project on the Palm, and I went to see it with Laura, and I was just blown away by it. I thought, this is what I had in my mind of selling when I first started looking at doing the job.
Yeah, it's the MTV cribs, like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of thing,
so I thought, right, this is exactly where I need to be. And went to meet them and loved it. And that was kind of like my next phase really.
So you've gone from renting properties anywhere in Dubai across different areas to working on literally one of the most beautiful projects in Dubai and the whole of Palm Jumeirah. What was that difference like?
I loved it. Yeah, I really thought, like I said, it was more I wanted to do, but I enjoyed meeting the clients at that level was a big change because everyone's a multimillionaire instantly. You're selling a product that you really believe in and know inside out. And yeah, like I said, you're in and out these luxury homes. Like, it was amazing. I was just literally, it's like visualizing every day of what I want.
Yeah, and it's kind of a step up.
Yeah.
And Ross is obviously a very modest guy, very humble, but the truth is he's actually the king of Serenia. You must have sold over half the building, I guess. And bear in mind, Serenia is one of, if not the most luxurious, beautiful development on the Palm Jumeirah. Like, you've done really well. So obviously Ross is a very humble guy and too modest to say, but he's actually the king of Serenia. You must have sold over 50% of the building, which, bear in mind, is one of, if not the most beautiful buildings on the whole of Palm Jumeirah and in Dubai, really. So what do you put that success down to? How were you able to do that?
To be honest, it was still hard at first. I remember when I joined, I actually only did a sale, I think, just before the summer, a direct sale, which I met a client at the project. I used to go on weekends and literally sit on the beach, handing the brochures out to people walking past from like the Waldorf.
Really?
Yeah. I'd do any walk-in viewing, any agent that called the office, I'd take them out. I was constantly calling. A lot of my business was through agents, so I'd call agents, invite them to the project to come and have a look. So then they could obviously pitch it to their clients better. So that was one main thing. I think the hard work still never stopped. And then I had really good support from two inspiring people actually in my life. My old CEO, Kareem, and director, Rana. The environment, I think, at Palmer was much... there was only 5 or 6 of us, so you got a lot more time with more experienced people. And the 2 other agents in there that were more experienced than me had been there like 12 years, I think, back then, and still there now. So there was a lot more support. I was learning off more experienced people, and that was so helpful. It sort of fast-tracked me to get to I might be after 5 years in 1 year, just from learning all the time and putting it into
and
practice.
being the top sales guy there, but within your 2 years there or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think I was top sales each year in the end, which was
some achievement.
Which was good.
Amazing, incredible.
I just love the product though. I think if you love what you sell and like with that support, then you will perform really well. I think that's something, even as a business we've spoke about a lot. I think it's a great opportunity for people to come and learn from us. I'd love to give that support to someone.
Yeah.
And really fast track them, because if you're at a bigger agency and you haven't got that support, it can take a lot longer to learn. You've got to learn by making your own mistakes. Where if you get that one-to-one or someone who's done well, you'll just get to where you want to be a lot quicker if you put it into practice.
And you can soak up that knowledge within an intense period of time with them and, use it rather than you who's learned it over a number of years. So looking back at your experience at Palmer and the fact that you've done so well, what do you put that down to?
I think, like I said, the hard work is a big one, and that never stops in real estate.
The waiting on the beaches, the viewings.
Exactly. Never turning a viewing down or an opportunity. Support from Rana, again, like I said, that one-to-one intense support whenever I needed it from someone experienced was brilliant. And I think the third, which is I think where brokers tend to go wrong in Dubai now, is I was such an expert in that project.
Yeah,
I knew everything about it. I knew what materials were selected and why, where the materials came from, the brands of everything, why certain glass was selected for the balconies so it didn't obstruct the view when you sat on your sofa. So and it took time to get to that level, but whenever I was on a viewing, I was so confident and so passionate about what I was selling. It made things so much easier, and I think it helped agents want to work with me because it made their life a lot easier when they were coming to show the project. And then with any direct clients, obviously it built belief in what they were buying. And if I used to think like they're coming to me and getting this experience, they're probably going to another project with another agent and not getting the same.
Yeah.
And that's why
making you stand out.
Yeah. And we were competing at the time against projects like Royal Atlantis, which are amazing. Yeah. So we had to find a way to sort of stand out in our own space. The more product knowledge I had helped, paint that picture and get people to buy.
I think especially in life, whatever it is, if you're going to the doctors, if you're seeing a lawyer, if someone is confident and they're the professional, they are the expert, they're the people you trust. So if that's you, it's the same thing. If the client's on a viewing with you thinking he doesn't really know what he's doing, they're not going to buy off you.
I think people in a lot of agents in Dubai as well think they need to be not just an area specialist, which should be good in general. They think they need to know the whole of Dubai, but you can really create a career here off a few buildings. Yeah. Like 90% of my sales have probably been across 2 buildings.
Yeah.
So,
and you often speak to the industry leaders, people like you and our business partner Jamie, and it boils down to not Dubai, not even an area, but often a building or a couple of buildings within a small area. Their success.
That's some advice I'd give. Really, find a building or a project that you love, and then go all in on it.
Yeah, become it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were doing so well at Palmer. Why did you leave?
Well, as you know, it was to start Luxury Invest Group. So I think just through my own ambition, really, it was kind of like, I think looking back at my career, I've kind of done well, got as much as I could out of every situation, and then tried to do more or do something bigger and better. I think especially from being at Palmer with Kareem and Rana, they really sort of helped me believe I could do that and inspired me to what they've created there is an amazing environment and kind of what we're achieving now with Luxury Invest Group. So it was just kind of the natural progression really. But then looking back now, it's quite a big jump and a lot to take on. But it was the natural next step, I think.
Obviously, I know how we set up Luxury Invest Group, but how can you tell everyone how it came about?
Yeah, so we actually got invited to a developer's office here in Dubai, but for UK property in Manchester. Was really impressed by it, and then we flew back to see what it was like. And we were all from and around the Manchester area, or I've spent a lot of time there, even though I'm not from there. And sort of, you could see how it's a bit like Dubai actually. You could see how much it was growing. It was kind of like the place to be of the north, or it is the place to be of the north still now. So we couldn't believe that there wasn't more people selling these properties at such sort of low ticket costs. I think it was about £200,000 when we started.
Yeah.
I was used to selling stuff over £1 million. I thought I could sell this so easily for investment. It's UK property, trusted. They're like Dubai properties themselves with all the amenities, skyscrapers in Manchester. So I think we all just knew there was a gap in the market that we could fill. And I also had a bad experience buying my first property in Kuwait through a financial advisor.
Which was in the UK as well.
Yeah, I was poorly advised. I thought there must be more people like this, expats or locals, that just want luxury, good quality properties that are great for investment that they buy and forget about. And that's exactly what we still do to this day. So we went away and did a course on lead generation. And yeah, went from there, really got the ads up and just went for it.
Yeah, I remember myself being in Manchester. I'm from Manchester, obviously, but being there and seeing this Dubai-like skyscrapers in a city that's never done that before, but it was right. It was so right. The area looked like it was built to have these beautiful skyscrapers. And like you said, there was a real feeling of Dubai, like with you coming to Dubai and seeing the Marina Skyline of, this thing's going to go. This is brilliant. It's going to happen. And it was like we knew instantly on that trip. We were coming back thinking, we can sell this. There's a gap in the market and we can be the people to go to buy it.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think we've gone from strength to strength with that now. We offer, obviously, properties across the UK, but in terms of getting a client, customer-focused advice, I think we're the best at it, to be honest. Absolutely.
And what about Dubai?
Well, I think with the UK side of the business, that I was obviously full focus for a couple of years, and you're perfect to head up that role. So as that side of the company's grown, naturally then it was on to me and Jamie to grow the Dubai side of the business.
So can you tell the guys what is the structure of Luxury Invest Group?
Yeah, so Luxury Invest Group is obviously our brand name, but we've got two sides of the business. One that sells UK property to mainly clients based in the Gulf region, but again across the globe for investment or for themselves to use. And then the Dubai business, we focus on luxury properties, so mainly waterfront properties, but luxury properties across Dubai, normal resale, off-plan, etc. As well.
Ross, what's the single best moment you've had since setting the business up?
There's a lot, to be fair. I think milestones along the way. First deal even.
Yeah.
From our own Facebook ad was amazing.
Knowing it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Getting the office was an amazing achievement, I think, looking back. But I think a really nice touch from you and Jamie's when I performed really well, I think, in the second year of business. And you guys turned up before our Christmas party and turned up with a watch that you'd bought me for doing so well. So that was, amazing feeling. So thanks again for that.
Yeah, you deserved it. You smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. Ross, how's it gone so far? What's the best moment since setting up the business?
Yeah, there's been a lot of little milestones along the way, I think, that are good achievements. I think even from doing our first deal from our own Facebook ad was amazing. I think finishing the office, we've obviously got a beautiful office now that we've designed ourselves. It's an amazing place to be. The first hire, again, another one, and each hire as well, I think is just a little achievement itself. Yeah. But then I really liked it, I think, when it was our second year of business, I did really well on sales, and you and Jamie surprised me before our Christmas do and turned up at my house with a watch as a gift. So that was a lovely moment, to be fair, that early on in our journey.
Yeah, brilliant. We had a good night that night as well, didn't we? So it all seems like it's going so well. What have there been the challenges so far, or most challenging moments for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges, I think, every day. I mean, things change so quickly with a business anyway. You're always having to pivot, maybe change location of where you're marketing, people struggling to buy properties from that location, ad costs. there's so much, but I think we do really well together at sort of navigating through those difficult times and pushing forward to the bigger vision.
Yeah, I think that's one of our greatest strengths, to be fair. The three of us are, different personalities, bring different things, but we've worked so well together, navigating challenges and growing. We've obviously achieved a lot in a short space of time, but where do you see yourself, where do you see Luxury Invest Group in the next 5 years?
Good question. I think we want Luxury Invest Group to be the go-to brand for luxury property in Dubai and good quality UK investments. And I think another side of it is agents have a bad reputation in general in Dubai. And I think we'd really like to create a brand where people talk about how good our brokers are and how successful it was working with Luxury Invest Group and how much of a good experience it was, because a lot of people don't get that. And continue to grow a place where people want to come to work and enjoy working there and are happy doing so. So, yeah, there's a lot more to do, but excited for what the future holds.
Ross, it's been a pleasure sitting with you for the last hour. And to finish things up, we've got a couple of questions. We asked our social media following for a couple of questions for Ross. So I'm going to catch you off guard now, ask you on the spot a couple of questions, Ross. First question I can see is, what's your biggest weakness?
I think I'm impatient, how long things take in business sometimes, or where I'd like us to be takes time and things need to compound. So I'd say, impatience is one for me, I think. And
what about this one? What's your favourite type of croissant?
I know who asked that.
That's
for
from
sure.
That's from your friend, yeah.
Yeah, almond.
Almond. Good shout. That'd be my favourite actually as well. Maybe pan of chocolate though. Right, here's a good one. What would you buy in the UK and why?
It'd definitely be in Manchester. And it'd be one of the high-rise buildings like we spoke about earlier. They're literally creating the new skyline of Manchester. Super popular, high yields, really good capital growth. So I think that'd be my choice for sure.
Yeah. What's your favourite holiday destination and why?
I'd say Bali at the moment. Love it there. Planning to go back again this year. But it's got a bit of everything. And it's such a chilled, cool vibe when you're there. So definitely Bali.
To finish up, Ross, 3 words to describe yourself.
Disciplined. Ambitious. And motivated.
Do you know what? As you were answering that, I was thinking how I'd describe you in 3 words. And to be fair, I think those 3 words are pretty bang on.
Mind reading enough.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Ross.
No problem.
Sitting with you. Pleasure being in business with you. Thanks.